The new Indian Scout Sport is one of 5 new Scout models of the 2025 vintage. We have already been able to drive a Scout Sport in the limited trim level and describe our impressions here. The Scout is the most popular Indian motorcycle in this country. So it's no wonder that Indian is putting 5 different Scouts on wheels for the new 2025 model. Classic, Bobber, Super, 101 and Sport are the names of these models, some of which are also available in the 3 trim levels: Standard, Limited and Limited Plus Tech. We got the Scout Sport Limited from an Indian dealer and were very surprised by the actual sporty qualities of this cruiser. The Scout Sport in the standard equipment offers full LED light, but otherwise hardly any additional features besides ABS. The Sport Limited that we drove offers much more with cruise control, riding modes, USB port and traction control. The Limited Plus Tech goes one better with keyless ride and a TFT color touchscreen including mobile phone connect and ride command including map navigation. The 2 limited variants cost €1,000 more each compared to the standard. The seat test is exactly as you would expect from a cruiser of this style. You sit very low, have your feet stretched far forward and thus get a slightly bent sitting posture. However, the very high riser of the Scout Sport at least allows the handlebars to come a little towards the rider, so that it doesn't feel quite as blatant as with some competitors. Nevertheless, we dare to doubt whether you can drive with it pain-free for a really long time, even if Volker regularly proves this on his cruiser with identical seat ergonomics. The Sport Scout weighs 248 kilograms, which is not that heavy, and can also be maneuvered reasonably well thanks to the low center of gravity. The machine is a solo-seater in series, which of course looks extremely cool. Of course, there are also pillion seats in Indian's accessories shop. The Standard and the Limited have a round instrument with analog speedometer and LC display for all other displays, such as gear, fuel level, digital speed, battery voltage, trip A and B, remaining range, driving mode, traction control status, etc. For operation, there is a separate button on the right, which you press briefly or longer to switch between the 3 riding modes: Standard, Sport and Rain, for example. This works intuitively and easily and is immediately understandable for everyone. This also applies to cruise control, which is included in the Limited as standard. The TFT touchscreen from Limited and Tech may be even more appealing and of course has more options to offer, such as full map navigation, but we find this analog solution more beautiful and classic. And by the way, it's also more suitable for a Scout, but everyone can decide for themselves. In terms of light, the Sport comes with full LED including the turn signals. A hazard warning light system is included, as well as an automatic turn signal reset. At the rear, the tail and brake lights are integrated into the bullet-style turn signals. Unlike BMW, for example, the turn signals are still easy to see when braking. Indian has done a really good job of this, both functionally and in terms of style. The standard exhaust system with matte black rear silencer in cannon barrel look offers an impressive sound. The papers say the machine with 93 dBA, but that can't be right. In any case, the V2 bubbles wonderfully bassy even when stationary and even while driving. The sound is always present and part of the driving experience without it becoming annoying or embarrassing. In our opinion, you don't need a bag from the secondary market, you can confidently save the money. 2 things immediately stand out on the first few meters on the new Scout: the cultivated engine and the sporty driving style. The engine already has a lot of punch at the bottom, pulls through like clockwork and has a surprising amount of elasticity for a V2. It also feels visibly comfortable in upper rev ranges, which fits the actual sporty character of this machine. So it's called Scout Sport for a reason. As a driver, you are torn: am I now driving chilled, as it should be for a cruiser? Or do I let it smoke and swing happily through the curves with the Scout? Both are possible here and both are hell of a lot of fun. We already really liked the Indian V2 in the previous version with 95 horsepower, which we drove as a bobber a few years ago. So now Indian has gone one step further, and not only that, the new V2 Speed Plus has become softer and no longer shakes so badly, especially at low revs. Of course, this still feels like V2, but it is much more cultivated overall. What else did we notice? The bar end mirrors are mounted below the handlebars. This looks cool and offers a good view to the rear, but you have to get used to looking down for a moment. The quality impression is okay, but we find the telescopic forks and rims a bit coarsely designed. However, the suspension works well, even if only the spring preload on the stereo shock absorbers can be adjusted. Sure, every now and then there is a blow in the back, if the street wants it. The rear suspension travel is only 76 mm, which is also related to the timing belt drive. Overall, however, comfort is not neglected with the Scout Sport, which is completely fine for a cruiser. The brake at the front is really not in order. Why did the Indian people only mount a single disc with a 2-piston floating caliper here? Really nasty emergency braking is only possible with extreme effort. That could really have been done better. Indian gives a 2-year warranty on the Scout models. The starting service is due after 600 kilometers and then at the following intervals: 8,000, 16,000, 32,000 kilometers. You have to come up with the idea first. Well, for free, as a rule, you push your motorcycle for service once a year anyway, and for safety reasons you should actually do the same, at least if the machine is new. It is well known that a complete service booklet also increases the resale value. The Indian Scout Sport is more than just an alternative to Harley-Davidson cruisers. It is independent, has a beautiful cruiser silhouette and drives surprisingly sporty. The V2 is not only powerful, but also cultivated and should also appeal to people who can't do much with the sometimes rough older V2s. The price is okay, especially since you also buy a little extravagance with an Indian.
Drei, zwei, eins. Ab geht der Fuchs. Oha. 100! Alter! Ja, so schnell. 3, 2, 1. Ab geht der Fuchs. 100. Geil.